Let's do that record. Okay, good shot. MicroESD, what is it, and why can it save you time and money? Which is going to be a fun webinar today. I'm not going to take your time too much. I know everybody has a lot of stuff to do, including you, Caroline, you know, doing with the work that you have to do with your project. So I want to keep it short and sweet. I'd rather spend more time on the Q&A than any type of other waffle that doesn't add any value, because I respect your time. You know, we all have busy lives nowadays. And, but this webinar is going to be a little bit different. Most places go and I do this ramp up to this problem, and then I come with a solution and go like, oh, goody, Willem has the perfect solution for this. And then amazingly, I think everybody's going to buy, and people buy, and everything else. Now, I want to start differently today. I want to tell you about me, the company, and the work that we do, and the impact that we have. But then I want to delve into micro enterprises and micro enterprise supplier development, unpack that, and also show you the different opportunities that it creates for you. So rather spark a discussion over a period of time than just try to do a hard sell or anything else. And I'd like to engage with you afterwards. So I'm the founder of the Human Entrepreneur. I was the Startup Mentor of the Year finalist last year, and also the Human Entrepreneur was Incubator of the Year finalist of the 2022 Africa Startup Ecosystem Builder Awards. As a person, I am in the Thinkers 360 Top 50 Global Thought Leaders and Influencers on Lean Startups, and also on startups. I've been an entrepreneur for 26 years, I've been an online for 26. I have a manufacturing background and even a master's degree in information systems management. And to top it all off, I'm a single father as well here in the beautiful Joburg. And for fun, I am a firewalking instructor. The Human Entrepreneur has a rapid entrepreneurship development program. The purpose of this is to cost effectively and sustainably create new businesses at scale. And we've been very successful with this project so far. And I'll show you how we've been able to disrupt the whole industry. So what we've been able to do so far is we've reduced the time of job creation through entrepreneurship to just 5 weeks. Also, we reduced the cost of job creation through entrepreneurship in many cases by 10 times. And one thing that we bring different to the party than other people is we bring scale to this. We can create thousands of these businesses every month. Over a period of time, we can create as many jobs as the economy sheds, as politicians and everything, and we navigate this difficult world that we're currently in. In our current training capacity, we can do 500 businesses a month, and we can scale that to 1,000 a month in 30 to 60 days. To give you an idea about the program, it's a simple 5-week program. We get people to start a business without funding, and in 5 weeks, and has enough customers and profits to financially sustain themselves. And let me put that in context. When in South Africa, if you earn a salary, a monthly salary of 1,500 Rand per month, you are in the top 40% of salary earners. It means that 60% of South Africans live below 1,500 Rand a month. With this program, we can quickly get people to 1,000 Rand profit a week. We've had people build businesses that generate 4, 5, 6,000 Rand profit per week in a matter of 7 to 14 days. So all of that is absolutely possible with this program. And it's a simple process. The first part is the 2-day Entrepreneurial Awakening course, which is really just shifts people's mindsets. That's what it does. It shifts people's mindsets to create the right entrepreneurial mindset, then also help them create the right entrepreneurial the mental fitness to go into this journey, and then also to help them create a rhythm of success, which they then take into the entrepreneurial apprenticeship. It's a 4-week process, and during that 4 weeks, they have to build a business with customers that they can sustain themselves financially. Okay, cool. So why does this work? Simple. We shift mindsets. Now, other programs teach, I've looked at a 2022 paper on the efficacy of entrepreneurship training methods, different ones. And they found that your typical classroom training has about 8 to 12% improvement. What was interesting, and this focused on Africa, this absolutely focused on Africa, it showed that mentorship and coaching didn't move the needle at all. But the one thing that moved the needle by 30% was mentorship, was mindset. If you could shift the mindset, that's everything that shifted. And that's what we do at the Human Entrepreneurs. We shift the mindset, and we do that very effectively. The great thing about this program is it fits in so many places. Don't just think, although it was designed for the bottom of the pyramid, created in Africa for Africa to help those who struggle most, the poorest of the poor, to teach them and help them become entrepreneurs. This also works in existing businesses. So if you do have an existing supply chain, then you can take them through this training as well. And what it does, it accelerates them because it creates a right mindset, the mental fitness, and helping them create a rhythm of success. It's also downstream from skills development programs. So many people teach people skills, but then they sit at home and they go like, I'm looking for a job. And that doesn't work. I always tell people, so much training going out there teaching people to fish, but nobody's fishing. With this program, with the Rapid Entrepreneurship Development Program, in 5 weeks, we get people to build a business. So we build fishermen in actual fact. And it's very cost effective and quick. In a cohort of 100 people, you're looking at about 7,500 Rand per person, depending on where in the country, etc., what the situations are. But as you can see, it's quite cost effective considering the cost of 6-month and 12-month projects that have a very low success rate. Usually when we take 100 people into a program, we create 30 to 40 businesses out of that. So we have a 3 to 1 ratio usually. 3 people come in, 1 business comes out, and we've had instances where we had a 2 to 1 ratio as well. So that's the voodoo that we do. If you really rapidly want to develop entrepreneurs at a pace that you never thought possible, at a cost you never thought could be this affordable, and at the time and impact, then talk to us. We really bring everything together at the Human Entrepreneur. But let's look at ESD challenges. Enterprise Supplier Development is not for the faint-hearted. There are many challenges. There's so many pressures from the government to do more and more business with small businesses and medium business, and fill your supply chain, or as they refer, SMMEs, small, medium, and micro enterprises. It's difficult because we're not developing these businesses for your supply chain fast enough, because most programs have a very low throughput. Also, it's very costly. I have coached and mentored on many other programs, being Mentor of the Year finalist. I love coaching and mentoring entrepreneurs. And some of these programs it starts at $10,000 a person, and then it goes up to, I've heard some of the bigger ones, you're looking at $30,000 per person for a 12-month program. And that is a lot of money. Even if you have a 50% success rate there, on the low end, that's $20,000 for a business. On the high end, it's $60,000 for a business, which in English is a lot of money. But but very few places actually achieve a 50% success rate. So if you're doing well, most places do a 25% success rate. So there you're looking 40% to 120, 40,000 to $120,000 for a business. Also, it takes long, 12 months. You don't have 12 months to wait to create a business. We just can't do it anymore for many reasons. From a job creation perspective, South Africa needs jobs now. People are hungry now, and we need to uplift them and create jobs. From a corporate perspective, from an enterprise supplier development perspective, what's really needed here is that you get as many of these right businesses into your supply chain as fast as possible. But that is a major problem. And other ESD challenges that we face is in many cases, these businesses in your supply chain that you pay a lot of money to develop, then they only have you as a client. And when the contract ends, that business ends and they give their Mercedes back, and it doesn't create a viable business long term. But for you as the corporate, it creates a lot of uncertainty and risk in your supply chain. You know, if somebody only has one customer, my father, bless him, I love my dad, but in the days when he was still alive, he always referred to as a fly-by-night. You know, and I've been a fly-by-night in my times as well. You know, 22 years, 23 years now, an entrepreneur. It's part of the journey. It's not, everybody goes through it. Even billionaires are fly-by-nights in that. But to have those guys in your supply chain creates a lot of risk. Also, most of the training out there for enterprise supply development is focused at small businesses, which has very little relevance to micro enterprises. Now, why do I say that? Small businesses make up a small percentage of the businesses in most economies. Small businesses in the United Kingdom, I'm talking there about 10 to 50 people, there's only 4%. In America, that's 5%. And then medium businesses on top of that, even smaller, and then corporates, minuscule. In developing economies, you're looking at United Kingdom, 95% of businesses are micro. In the United States, that's 92%. In South Africa, there is a statistic that says 67% of businesses in South Africa are micro. Now, it's not really being measured because the government, just for reporting, is just chuck everybody small and micro into the same thing. But the training with a micro enterprise is mindset, because that's very much just the entrepreneur. They might have a few employees, but it's very much everything starts and ends with me. While small businesses is very much, what's the processes? What are the things that you have put into place? What's happening with that? And that can be difficult, and that's irrelevant to micro enterprises. I've had so many people in my incubator program saying, well, I'm on this other program, but they teach theory, you teach business and money. Because we do the practical thing. What I've seen a lot of programs do is like, oh, it's the Rolls Royce. We teach them everything: forecasting, business planning, business model canvas, business model innovation, lean startup, and everything else that goes with it. And then they're going to be successful entrepreneurs. No. I think anybody who's a parent, no, you can't study to prepare for a kid. Only when you have a child, you go like, oh, this is how it works. And that informs your learning. And the same thing here. How do you learn to play piano? By studying music theory, do piano design? No, you start by playing the piano. And the same thing happens here. You start by learning to be an entrepreneur by being an entrepreneur. And this informs the learning going forward. And that's the great thing about when you work with micro enterprises. It's very cheaper to start, but I'll cover that later on. Okay, so what is micro-ESD? ESD. Apologies for that one. Slip of the tongue. Micro business is in South African definition with 10 or less employees, with an annual revenue of below 5 million rand. Now, I don't want to sound weird, but you know, if you have 5 employees and your business is doing 4 or 5 million a year, that is a very good business. And it's about making micro enterprises part of your supply chain. I think if you go and look at your supply chain, you will see that the bulk of the small businesses that you thought small are actually micro. They're below 10 employees. But chucking small business training at them is simply not going to work. And it's about getting the micro enterprise thinking, doing, and mindset into place so that it benefits the entrepreneur, their business, but also your supply chain. So let's look at benefits of a micro business. Like I said, in our program, we get people, unemployed people in townships, to start a business without any funding in 5 weeks, and they make have enough customers and profits to financially sustain themselves. Micro businesses have a low or no startup costs. That's one of the other problems that we have with incubator programs, because they use lean startup, and that's going, oh, you need funding. No, you don't need funding. Now everybody sits for funding, but now they throw money at the problem and still the business fails. Nice thing about a micro business, it's quick to build. It's really like we do it in a couple of weeks. We have people in that 4-week entrepreneurship apprenticeship where they have to build a business. Some people will start and kill 2 or 3 businesses. Go like, no, I tested that one for 2 days, didn't work, go there, and so forth and so forth and so forth. Low barrier to entry, also for people, you know, anyone can basically get into it. Massive job creation potential, quick and big local economic and social impact. And I'll show you a little bit more about that just now, and a cost-effective way to find people with entrepreneurial potential. Let me go back to the long 12-month programs. Now you're going to spend 200,000 Rand taking a person on a 12-month program. Yes, you've done psychometrics, but psychometrics can't tell you with certainty what's going to happen. It shows you entrepreneurial intention. Half of the people that build businesses in my programs never thought they could be an entrepreneur. I don't subscribe to this thing. 3% of people are entrepreneurs. No, it's a learned skill, just like leadership. Are there more people? Are there some people who are more inclined to be entrepreneurs? Absolutely. Just like you have natural speakers, natural leaders, etc., etc. But most of the things that I've seen, it's a learned skill. And with this, you can cost effectively find the right people to develop for your supply chain without risking hundreds of millions or tens of millions on that. So these are the benefits. Look at the difference between a micro enterprise and a small business. Has massive economic stimulation and poverty reduction compared to a small business. Also, the time to develop and cost of development is much cheaper than a small business, because a small business, you know, it's 11 to 50 employees. That's a lot of people. Anybody who's ever built a business will tell you it takes you many, many, many years to get to that level. And our economy can't wait for that anymore. Your supply chain and the pressures that you face can't wait for that anymore. And that's why micro enterprises are good. And also social impact and job creation potential. For every business that you create a job, and then they can further create other jobs. But also you rapidly uplift people out of poverty in a matter of weeks. And that has a positive impact on GBV, alcoholism, drugs, and other social ills. So it's just a benefit to really start going micro to address your macro supply chain issues. So micro-ESD opportunities. What opportunities does it create? It creates a pipeline of potential entrepreneurs, reducing your cost, and your time. You can use it to strategically grow your business. So if you're going to, let's say you're an FMCG, you are in ICT or something, and you roll out in a new area, you can go and create hundreds of these new micro enterprises cost effectively and quickly using your ED, ESD money, CSI, CSR money to execute on your strategy. So now you use this to impact the communities, give back to the communities, and grow your business, making it more secure for you. It's a great way to test new markets. Instead of going like, let's go there and partner with these guys. Let's go and develop new entrepreneurs in that market, see how it goes, and it's a quick way to test, and you're creating jobs for people. Okay, you have more options to choose from. You know, the more of these micro enterprises you can develop, the more choices you have to play with, because micro enterprises usually play in a very niche area. And that's the nice thing about that. It's not, they don't work with, yeah, we work in that space. This guy goes like, I work in that. And he can go and find them, and he can develop many of them in there. And it also gives you more choice. You know, I was sitting at an event next to a minister and some other guy who's doing supply chain to hospitals. And he says, I have at least 15 suppliers for everything that I supply. I go like, why? He says, 89% of my deliveries are delivered on the same day if you order before 10 o'clock, because I call the supplier. If he has 10 units, I take it. That guy has 100, I take that. And it just makes it much easier. Also, it gives you access to new markets. Now you can go and develop and create the new entrepreneurs in areas to see if those markets are viable for you. And if it's not, you pull your product or service back. But these guys will have the right mindset and thinking then to go forward much easier. Yeah. Now, there are some concerns. I'm not going to say, yes, amen, this is the best thing ever. Stability issues is a problem. But now if you have 20 to choose from or 10 to choose from, that becomes less of an issue. Service, yes, that can be a challenge. But now rather know that you're working with the right entrepreneur, and you can develop them into the right service level that you want for your supply chain. And also the professionalism goes the same way. I'm going to speak at an event next week, and this incubator manager said to me, you know what, everybody's complaining about access to market, and that the times that we did give them access to market is they botched it because they weren't professional. They mistreated the customers and everything else. With my rapid entrepreneurship program, because it shifts the mindset of the entrepreneur. Nobody in my program ever complains about access to market, because they've learned to pick up the phone and do the work themselves. You don't have an issue of access to market. You have an issue of not pulling finger and making things happen. Now it's some time for Q&A. If you want to ask me a question, pop it in the chat. Otherwise, what you can also do, you can just unmute yourself and ask me a question. Be a great time now. But as you can see, you know, there's a lot of benefits in going micro enterprises. We can really achieve a lot with micro enterprises. My contact details are on the screen. Please reach out to me. I am going to send you a PDF about the program, but also a recording of this webinar so you can share it with other people. Go like, hey, I found this guy who's onto something, and we can really cut costs, save time, and reduce our risks, and really unlock new opportunities like never before. Any questions, ladies and gents? Any questions that you have for me? You can call me direct on my mobile phone. Otherwise, visit the website, thehumanentrepreneur.org. You will see a lot of amazing testimonials there. And you can see, you go like, okay, cool. This is amazing work that you guys do. Hi, Willem. Is it possible for you to show the slides and presentation so they are visible? Then I'm not there. I think it's going to be much easier for you on the recording. But Mr. Matambu, if you want to reach out to me afterwards, please reach out to me, and I can easily share the slides with you if you want to. Robert, thank you for that. If anyone has any questions for me, just let me know.
Yeah, I've got one for you.
Yes, Caroline, shoot.
Okay, so let's say we have this business. We're now medium size and we're cranking, and we need a supply chain, and we like the idea of a micro enterprise. Where do we go to find the reliable micro enterprise? Because one of the reasons you don't do that is because it's so expensive to source them.
Yes. Yeah, and like I said, the programs are ludicrously expensive. If you look at mine, you're looking at an entry point of about 7,500 rand per person on a cohort of 100. And
But
what we
that's to
do,
develop them, right? Like if
yeah,
I'm the business, I want to develop them.
yes,
I just want to have supply, right?
okay,
So
cool.
the reason it's easy for me to go online and find a website and say, okay, or I talk to
Hmm.
someone and they say, well, we've
Hmm.
been using this supplier for years. So I'm probably going to end up with another medium-sized business as my supplier. Just
Okay,
because it's easier and cheaper and to find them and to know that I'm
yes,
getting a reliable
okay,
service provider.
okay. No, that's fine. Caroline, I hear what you say. A great resource we can go to then, because the bulk, in most developed economies, more than 90% of businesses are micro. So the odds of you stepping onto a micro enterprise is almost 100%. A great starting place with that, Caroline, I would suggest go to your business chambers and industry bodies. But business chambers is always a very good start to find those peoples and just find where they come together. If you want to spitball that a little bit, and I can give you other ideas, let's set up a meeting and we can play with that. But yes, there are ways, easier ways to find them that does not necessarily involve a lot of cost to make use of these micro enterprises. And the nice thing is, even when you do find them, which you will, let's say you find 10 micro enterprises or 20 that you're going to build your supply chain. Okay, cool. Now you take them through the program in any case, because now you have the right mindset, they have the mental fitness, and they know what the daily actions are to make this business a success so that they can go and get other customers apart from you, so that their company becomes more stable and your supply chain becomes more stable. Is this helping you, Caroline?
Okay, so what you're advocating is that
Mm.
if I am making use of a micro enterprise, that I introduce them to you, so that they get the benefit of your program, and then I get the benefit of somebody whose whose business is that much more viable.
Absolutely. So,
Is that what I'm hearing?
yes. So I can go into your supply chain and you say, well, we're having these issues and these, and we'll help you sort those issues out by taking those people through our program. That's what we can do for you. Any other questions? Anyone else? I love this. Was this such an amazing webinar that everybody's like, wow, I'm awestruck. I have no words for this. Paul, Robert, anyone? If that's not, then I'm going to end this. I will connect with you on LinkedIn again, send you further information. And yeah, Paul, thank you for that. Thank you, everyone, for attending today. I appreciate it. And I'll chat to you soon. Thank you.
Thanks.